Like even the entrepreneurs are like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. What does that mean? I'm like, you're a creative. You just build stuff, right? You see a need, you see a hole, and then you fill that void. You provide a solution, right? It's like somebody was like, man, I need an energy drink. Oh, here comes Bang. You see, right? It's like, oh man, how can we write on the glass? Well, let me build it. Let me create it. That's it. The softwares we created, bro, we saw a need and we filled that need. We created all kinds of different softwares, man. You know. You got a lot of guys out there that, you know, they're going heavy on like the brand side, right? I went heavy on building like real businesses side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I built fucking empires with my fucking bare hands with my, you know, with Sal, my business partner. And I did that for the first 6 years, bro. And then now I kind of started putting myself out there a little bit, right? Sure. On Instagram and you know, little whatever, wherever I can. And I'm like, but I need to really take it serious. I'm like, okay, well, if I'm going to take it serious, you know, then what do I need to do? I got to put together a good infrastructure, video guy, editors, you know, content idea guy. You like really like, you know, put it all together. So that's why I'm trying to get them to move from Cali to Arizona, two video guys and Danny, and really blow my shit up this year.
Is that your creative process whenever you're building a new project? Or what is that creative process when you're building a new project? You start trying to identify the personnel you want to align with, or do you map it out?
It's crazy, right? Because I'm definitely a right brain thinker. You know, I'm a right brain thinker. I am a creative. I'm a very creative guy. I'm an intuitive person. I'm an emotional person, right? I lead by example. I lead from the front. I have a lot of empathy and compassion for people. So what I see, I just look for pieces. I'm like, what's needed, right? I'm a solutions guy. Like I solve problems. I look for pieces, man. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna start treating my brand like I did all the businesses that I was able to create over these past 6 years, right? I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna invest into the right people. I'm gonna put together the right systems. You know what I mean? And I'm going to strategize on what's going to give me, you know, the most amount of impact and results with the least amount of time and effort. So I'm always looking to pretty much like build, automate and systemize, and then delegate it, like fire myself completely. I don't want to be the guy that's thinking of ideas to like doing the R&D, right? The research and development of what's trendy in the entrepreneur world on social media, right? What's popular. I don't want to. Bro, I got a family, I got businesses, I got employees. I'm like, I don't fucking want to spend my time doing that, right? So then I'm just gonna hire somebody to do that. You know, I don't, you know, obviously the videographer, I don't even know how to hold a camera, you know, let alone like edit, you know. So, you know, there's systems and processes to everything that we do, bro, right? So
I love it.
But yeah, man, for me, it's build, systemize, automate, delegate, and then move on.
See, that's inspiring because one from the outside looking in would probably see your Instagram page, say, for example, at first glance and see, wow, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers, blue check. He's rubbing shoulders with the Grant Cardones of the world, but the man does not know how to film a damn video. So
you know why? There's a lot of things I don't know how to do. I'll tell you what, I don't know how to wash my own car. You know, I've never washed my own car. I don't fucking want to, you know, like I don't care. I don't know how to change a light bulb, right? Well, why do you think I'm really bad at a lot of things? That's the first thing I'll tell you. I'm really bad at a lot of things, man. Why do you think that is?
Because I'm just going to throw it out there and say you've been able to effectively leverage yourself enough to a point where you haven't had to be good at those things. You've just been able to surround yourself with the people who are.
That's a great answer. Dustin, what do you got?
Optimizing your time. Sticking with your 5%.
You hear that? Both of you are right. What did I tell you? I said,
but I was righter for the record. Just I'm competitive.
I don't like. I was talking. So my car detail guy, right? He retired. He retired like a few weeks ago. He's like, hey man, I'm calling. I can refer some people. You know, I'm calling it a day. This guy used to come to my house. What I'm always looking to do, brother, right, is people don't understand this now, but I'm always looking to buy time. How do I buy time, right?
Buy time.
Yeah, I pay the pool people. Excuse me. I pay the pool people. I get Instacart. I get groceries to the house. You know, my wife does that. I have cleaning ladies that come to our house. I have somebody that picks up my dog shit and walks my dogs. I only get to play with my dogs, right? uh, right. I have landscapers. You know, you see what I'm saying? Like
Sure.
I got a massage therapist that comes Tuesday at 9 p.m. At my house every Tuesday. I have my barber that comes weekly to my house Sunday nights. You see everything. Like, what am I always trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
Bye
Right?
time.
Like, I'm very intentional with my time, bro. Very intentional.
So how did you learn this? Because I know your background, and maybe we'll kind of work back now to the intro, was you came here as an undocumented kid and have since built multiple 7-figure businesses, become a real estate tycoon. I'm guessing, though, you didn't start off with that mindset. You know, that's not exactly something we're handed in life.
You know what I started out with, brother? I was a hustler, right? I had the ambition. Adversity was my X factor. Like, it was my driving force, right? To not be dirt poor. Like, when I say dirt poor, right? And we'll talk about my story. I like dirt poor, where, you know, I was born in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico, right? At Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. Then I was, my mom, she pretty much ran away from my father because he was abusive and he was on cocaine, and he would come home drunk and he would, you know, beat the crap out of her. So one time, what really did it was my father put me as a 2-year-old, my brand new, my brother, my little brother, he was brand new, newborn, put me and my mother against the wall and started shooting at us. And my mom really is like, okay, this is it. I got to go. Right. So we went away an hour and a half south from where I was born, running away from my father, hiding at my aunt's, hiding at my grandma's house. Now, this place is called Guaymas, Sonora, which is like dirt poor, bro. I'm talking like dirt streets, dirt roads, you know, dirt floors. My grandma's house was up it's called Cerro, like in the mountains, because in Mexico, if you're rich, you live in the city. If you're poor, you live up in like the mountains, like where, like, you know, where all the poor people live. So that's how I lived. I had dirt floors. We had a bucket in the front of the house where the water guy would come with a big old tank and fill the bucket. We didn't have running water, bro. I didn't have running water, right? We had no electricity. We had the little, there are these little lamps with little oil and then like a real fire, not even electrical, like real fire, right? And that was my childhood, right? My grandma used to warm up the water and put it into a bucket. And I had a little bucket, and that's how I took showers every day, bro. And then we had a washing board in the back that my mom and my grandma would use. My grandfather built a back house behind the house with his bare hands, where we would use the restroom. You know, it's a hole. It was literally a hole. Like,
right.
It was a hole, bro. I'm telling you, like nobody should live that way. But I didn't know any better. You know, I thought that was a normal thing growing up. You know what I mean? And then my mom,
and it helps you appreciate the opportunity you have now in America, right?
Bro, like, you know, look at, I got the see, that's from Mexico right there. The little mark. That's the Mexico stamp right there, bro. So, you know, it's crazy. You know, I mean, you know, my mom was like, she was a visionary, because she was like, I don't want my sons to, I want more. I want life. You know, if I want opportunity for my son. So she left us for like about a year and a half, man. Imagine being, you know, in the 2nd grade and your mom's nowhere to be found. You're dirt poor. You're with your grandmother. It was a really, really tough time in my life, for sure, because I really thought that my mother left me because I did something wrong for that year and a half. I used to sleep with her picture under my pillow and freaking cry as a kid, you know, 1st grader, 2nd grader. And my grandma, you know, back then, this was in the 90s, bro, you know, and because, you know, it was like mid 90s. And my grandma was like, hey, you know, she's going to come back. She's working. She's trying to make money for you guys. And blah. And I, you know, I was like really trying hard to believe my grandma. And she would call, you know, my mom would call, like, you know, every week at the neighbor's house. He had a phone, like a land phone. And that's where we would go. You know, Fridays at 5 p.m., my mom would call. You know, I'd get all excited, man, in 1st grade, 2nd grade, right? My grandma would take me across the street to, name was Will, to the neighbor. He actually had, so our house was like bro, it was like laminate roofing, you know, like when it would rain, it was insane. You can hear everything. And it was, I mean, it was bad. It was bad. So
Mhm.
whenever she would call, obviously that would make my week, you know, and then I would have to wait for another week. But my mom, you know, she was working the fields in Escondido, California, you know, and then once she saved up enough money, she came back for my brother and me. Then she took us through a sewer system in San Isidro, California, which is next to Tijuana. That was the first, like, you know, it's the first time we ever made it to America as
A sewer? You came through a sewer
a
system?
sewer system. Yeah, like a sewer,
From
like
like
a
Shawshank
legit.
Redemption type shit?
I've never seen that movie, but I should because I hear good things. But I went through a sewer system the first time, and then, you know, imagine this, right? Imagine this is where it gets a little crazy. You know, your mom leaves you unintentionally, not on
Oh, this is
purpose.
where it gets crazy.
Yeah,
Like this whole
like,
thing been crazy, but please keep
like we're
going.
not even crazy yet, right? So, and you know, and then, you know, like you made all that sacrifice. She makes all that sacrifice. We take all that risk, and then my mom, you know, we fail financially. Like I lasted there, bro. Like I got there in the last part of the second grade, and then I tried to learn English through second grade and third grade summer school, and then I went to third grade. I remember Oak Hill Elementary, Mr. Johnson's class, and then I went to fourth grade, and then fifth grade we failed. Like we were driving back to Mexico because we just didn't make it financially. Single mom, two kids, working in the fields, couldn't do it. We were homeless at one point for a few days. Like we lived under a tree for a few days. And then my mom was like, we got to go back. We failed. And I remember, you know, that drive home, you know, I remember exactly like her friend, his name was Jaime, gave us a ride home to drop us off at the border. And we were pretty discouraged, bro. Like I mean, we were broken. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. Think about all that. Like, right, we made it to the land of opportunity, the land of milk and honey, and now we got to go back to the shithole that we came from, you know, the rat hole we came from, right? You see, it was okay when we were growing up there because we didn't know any better.
Right.
But now that we know better, we're like, that's not living. We don't want to live like that. Man, and man, like back to no electricity, back to, you know, taking showers out of a bucket, you know, it's like back to dirt floors, back to washing our clothes in the back. Like we just went back, like we regressed, we went back. But my mom had another plan. She's like, hey, I'm gonna go and clean the resorts in San Carlos Bay, which is about 30 minutes away from Guaymas. I'm gonna clean the resorts. I'm gonna clean the hotel at the resorts, and you know, you're gonna get a job. At this point, I'm in the fifth grade, so I'm about 8, 9 years old.
And this resort's in Mexico?
This is I'm back in Mexico. Excellent. Then I get a job as a, you know, in Mexico you can work as young as you want. There's no, you know, right? So I get a job in the fifth grade and the sixth grade, and I'm bagging groceries now. You know, I got my apron, my hat, my little thing, and I'm bagging groceries. I'm taking it out to people's cars, and then I'm asking for a tip, and I'm making decent money at that point. I'm hustling, right? And I know a little bit of English, so whenever San Carlos Bay is a resort, like it's a legit like destination for, you know, for Americans. So a lot of Americans would come to that specific retail store because it wasn't too far from the resort. So Americans would come, and whenever I did their stuff, they would pay me in dollars. And $1 back then was worth like, you know, 15, 17 pesos. So I was killing it, you know, as a little boy, like I was eating, man. Me and my mom, we put our money together after a year. We sent her to Phoenix in a bus. And then a year later, she comes back for me, and then she pays a coyote to sneak me through a hole in the fence in Nogales, Sonora. And then she was waiting for me on the other side at a McDonald's, Nogales, Arizona, brings me up to Phoenix, starts my immigration paperwork process in 1997. And I get my work permit first for a year, and then I get a permanent resident card, and then I got my citizenship, and I'm here, bro. I'm here. I got my citizenship in 2012, and I went into business 2014. As soon as I got my citizenship, man, I was ready. I was gone, you know, because when you're a permanent resident, you gotta make sure you're like by the book, or else you get kicked out. Like, right. No drinking and driving, no felonies. You got to be paying taxes, you know, like, so as soon as I got my residence, my citizenship, man, I met my business partner, Sal. We met in 2013, about a year after I got my citizenship, and he completed me and I completed him, and we were like, bro, let's do something, right? And then we just started building a lot of different businesses, and man, we're still in the infancy stages. I know it looks like, bro. I mean, if
how did real estate become the first business venture?
Well, we wanted to build something, and we were like thinking about a coffee shop, a car wash. We were thinking about all kinds of stuff, right? And like one of my dreams was definitely always to be a real estate investor, right? Not even an agent, not my dream in the 7th and 8th grade was I either want to be a Navy SEAL, a lawyer, a cop, or a real estate investor. And it's funny because I went and tried out for the police force, and I passed every test. And then they told me they were going to start me at like $17, $18 an hour. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, damn, I'm going to be risking my life for 17, 18 bucks an hour. I'm like, I'll get back with you guys. Right.
So you were already thinking pretty big in middle school then. Is that because
bro,
you've already overcome so much?
I've been thinking pretty big when I was 5 years old. Like when I was 5 years old, I told my mom that I was going to have my own business one day and that I was going to retire her. And guess what? I retired her 4 years ago. Thank God. You know what I mean? I retired. She don't have to worry about nothing. Everything, like zero. She worries about zero. She don't worry about her phone bill, car payment, insurance, health, like nothing, electricity, nothing, housing, nothing. She's fully gone. She's retired, bro. Thank God.
And so you turned down the you said the police academy because the numbers wasn't making sense.
Sal and I, we were like, man, let's try this real estate thing. We were like, we don't know much about real estate, and well, let's start digging in, right? And that's when we discovered real estate wholesaling. Because, man, I was like, and back then when we started, like, I definitely was dead broke. Like we were putting out like handwritten bandit signs, flyers, handwritten letters, door knocking, all the free marketing channels that you can think of. And then we finally landed a deal, and we're like, oh shit, this works, right? And we landed our first deal, like 6 months in, we landed our first deal. And then we just, like, once you land that first deal, man, like something just turns on, and you're like,
got that taste.
I discovered gold, you know what I mean? Like I discovered gold, right? And we just started mining. We started mining, man. We started getting deep, So once we got that first deal in, we started putting together like marketing campaigns. We did a direct mail campaign that brought us like $60,000 on $2,500 spent. And we did another marketing campaign that we spent $2,500 on and brought us $30,000. Then we started investing into digital Google AdWords, pay-per-click. And our company had its first 6-figure month back in July of 2016. We haven't looked back, man. We started blowing up. We started making so much money in real estate that we started building other companies with that money, because we were like, okay, what do we do with all this money, right? And we're like, okay, well, let's start building other companies, or let's start buying other companies. And that's where we are today. We have built and bought a total of 27 companies across different sectors like solar, medical, digital marketing, software. We're everywhere.
So you just made that sound very easy, but I'm sure it wasn't. So this first
Sal, well, it wasn't too hard to build all these companies, right? Sal? Yeah. It was hard? Well, it still feels pretty hard.
Yeah.
He's like, it's fucking hard. Like, we're still building, bro. That's what, bro, like we fucking fight every day. Like, we're building, bro. That's the thing about us. We have no off button. We have no off button. That's why we're going to win. That's why we're always going to win. We have no off button. Our energy, bro, we have no distractions. We're laser focused. We eat, we breathe, we shit, we sleep, business all day long. When sun up, sun down. Bro, I'm glad I have enough time, because I'm intentional with my time now. I learned this because I was neglecting my family. I was neglecting my health. I think Sal's still neglecting all of that, right? I'm trying to, like, really.
How did you and Sal meet? What was that story like? How did you find your
brother? He's an immigrant from Iraq. Like, he was persecuted, and because he's Catholic, and when that whole thing went down back in 2007, right, when the U.S. went into Iraq, mm-hmm. He was persecuted for not being Muslim, so he was serving the U.S. Army. He moved here, and then we met. He got here in 2007. And then we met in 2013. Excuse me.
You met in 2013.
We became really good friends, like best friends for 2013, and then 2014.
Did you know what you wanted in a business partner? I mean, because that's the
Bro,
very critical
bro,
decision you make in your life.
all I knew is that he worked. He was the only guy that I knew that worked his ass off as much as me. And I think he saw that in me. He's like, damn, this dude doesn't slow down. Like, I didn't slow down. I was always looking for more. I was always looking to grind. And that's the thing. Him and I, we're not, don't get me wrong. We understand the power of money. We understand that money is a powerful tool. And you leverage that money to do not only good for yourself and those around you, but to do good, in the world, right? But we're not driven by money. We're driven by, we're creatives. We're builders, we're entrepreneurs. What are entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs, we're just creators. Like an entrepreneur created this. An entrepreneur created what are these called? Blue. These are called Swanwick. One of the best company. This is for the blue light, right?
Mm-hmm.
An entrepreneur created this drink, right? Do you guys understand that we are creatives as entrepreneurs? We create shit. We create stuff. People confuse that. They don't understand. Like even the entrepreneurs are like, well, I'm an entrepreneur. What does that mean? I'm like, you're a creative. You just build stuff, right? You see a need, you see a hole, and then you fill that void. You provide a solution, right? It's like somebody was like, man, I need an energy drink. Oh, here comes Bang. You see, right? It's like, oh man, how can we write on the glass? Well, let me build it. Let me create it. That's it. The softwares we created, bro, we saw a need and we filled that need. We created all kinds of different softwares, man,
So when you said you also invest in other companies, what are you looking for when you're evaluating an opportunity? How do you decide where to put your money?
Well, the first thing we look at is the books, right? And then like we look at the books, then we're like, why is it like most people are looking to sell company most of the times, 99% of the times, it's because they lack systems, processes, personnel, right? Brand relevance. They lack marketing knowledge, right? Sal and I, we're great marketers. We're great, like real estate forces us to be great marketers. So once we figure out how to market, like ringless voicemail marketing, SMS marketing, digital marketing, cold calling marketing, billboard marketing, right? We feel like we just became great marketers. When you're a great marketer and you happen to be a pretty good businessman, bro, you can buy anything and make it better, or you can build a company and make it better. So when we buy out some of these companies, like we bought a medical company, it was only like $300K. It wasn't like a crazy purchase. It was $300,000, right? We bought a medical company a year and a half, 2 years ago, and we looked at his books. We looked at, it's a one-man show. Damn, he doesn't even have employees, and he's making that much money. All right, let's buy it. You see what I'm saying? Because we look at the systems and processes that are in play, and then we say like, well, if me and Sal come in with the marketing and the systems and the processes, right, the integration, the structure, well, we're going to blow that company up by 5x, 6x, and then it just makes sense at that point.
Okay, so it's typically strictly it's a math equation for you. If you can bring the capital to multiply.
Books are the first thing. Books, you look at books, and then you're like, okay, why are we only making this amount of gross profit? Why are we, why are we producing this amount of gross profit? Why are we only keeping, a net profitability of a certain percentage? How can we increase the margin between where, what the net profitability should be and where it's at now? Like we start to really analyze like every single key performance indicator, every single piece of data. And we're experts because I can build anything, I can, brother, Sal says this all the time. Like if he was a pimp, right? Like he can literally structure a pimping business, like a system, like a conveyor belt.
It's funny. I've been having a lot of conversations lately about OnlyFans and bringing marketing processes to OnlyFans pages and taking a management fee. So we might have to talk that one through a little bit. But what's your advice for someone starting off in whether it be real estate wholesaling, OnlyFans? Like, how do you put together a marketing strategy from the ground up?
Well, before this is the thing, man. Before people even get to this, like, marketing is kind of like it's surface level. It's surface level strategies, right? Before you get there, this is 99% of the time, like, people lack commitment. They lack commitment. Okay, they lack commitment, right? Like, I'll give you an example, right? What I don't know specifically, like, where, like, your areas or what you guys do for a living, right? But a lot of people, if you ask them, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, I do videography. Okay, how much time of the day do you spend on your craft? Oh, 4 to 5, 6. Oh, well, what do you do with the rest of your time? Oh, I kind of hang out with my girlfriend. I go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. Bro, like, if you're really trying to build something that is going to make a life-changing impact, right? Like an impact on your life, you're going to have to be committed all day long, like girlfriend, sports, hobbies, you know what I mean? Like bad habits, friends. That's the first thing. Before we even get to the X's and O's of the business, which is, like, marketing, like we said, infrastructure, system, all that. We got to see where your commitment level is, right? So they lack commitment. And then the next thing that they lack is, like we just said, like, making the necessary sacrifices on the these are deeper rooted issues.
Sure.
Right? The marketing is just like, marketing and hiring the right people and all that. That's all just symptoms of the root disease or the root cause, which is like, am I committed? Am I making enough am I sacrificing everything? Right? Do I have the proper work ethic? Do I really have the work ethic to do this all day long? Especially your first 3 years. Do I have the right work ethic to do this shit from, I don't know, 10, 12, 16 hours a day, right? Where I eat, like, bro, I still eat at my desk. You see that little green bag? Right? This is called Sunfare. This company prepares my meals. You know what I mean? Why? Because I don't have time to go to lunch, bro. I'm not trying to take an hour lunch, a 30-minute lunch. Look, I got my meals right here. You know what I mean? I got my meals right here. I don't have time to cook my meals, and I damn sure don't have time to be going to lunch. I eat on my desk every day. Look at this. There's my breakfast. It was an omelet. My breakfast is right there. Guess what? I ate it right here. There's my green juice. Look at this. I drink it right here. We just operate different, man. You know what I mean?
Is that level of commitment and work ethic, is that something that can be taught? How do you bring that out of somebody if it's not there?
It could. I'll tell you how it starts. Discipline. Discipline is like getting shit done even if you don't feel like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're like, oh, I'm gonna commit to going to the gym 4 times this week. There's gonna be days where you wake up and you're like, man, I'm not going to that. I don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. You gotta have the discipline to get your ass there, right? Once you're there, guess what? Motion creates emotion. When have you ever regretted a workout? When have you ever regretted a workout? When was the last time? Think of it. Oh man, I shouldn't have worked out today, man. Oh no, come on, never, right?
That's fact.
Discipline creates habits, and only then habits will create that lifestyle change that you're looking, which in this case would be work ethic, right? Discipline, habits, work ethic. Discipline, habits, life change. That's how it happens. And a lot of people are not willing to what? They're not willing to have the discipline, sure. Right? Because it takes commitment to that discipline to create good habits to change your life. See, it's all a process and people aren't willing to do it. That's why the 1% is the 1%. That's why the 1% is the 1%. That's why the 1% buys jets, because it's costing them time to not buy one. They have to go wait in line at a commercial airline, and then they got to, you know what I mean? It's like, they don't want to do that, man. They don't want to do that. Time, bro. Listen, the one thing that we value the most right now as entrepreneurs is time, right? I just told you, I buy my time any opportunity I get. Why do you think all these people work here? Right? If I was one of those tire kickers, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to hold on to every dollar. Mm-hmm. But then guess what? I'm not going to have capacity. I'm not going to have time, right? I got to pay all these people to do the day-to-day shit. I want to work on the macro aspects of building different businesses and companies.
That was going to be my question, because you've successfully leveraged yourself. You've bought back all this time, yet you still are investing plenty of your own time. So what is it that you do on a day-to-day basis
Well,
besides talk to cool people like us?
um, man, you know what? I'll tell you what. Every single day is something different. I try to be as structured as I can, and I try to be as intentional with my time as I can. But I'll tell you what, there's not one day where shit doesn't need to get done with one of our 27 companies,
Right.
right? And you know what? Sal and I, we're very intentional with our time now and in our energy, for sure. So we focus a majority of the percentage of our energy and time into the companies that have a lot of potential, that are already doing 7 figures, right? We're not going to focus on the little company that's doing $250,000 a year. No, we're going to focus on the companies that are doing a few million a year, and how to actually, how to make more of that, right?
Sure.
So like, I'll give you an example, like our education company, All In, our goal for this education company is 10 million this year, right? We just had a weekend, and I don't know if I can disclose these numbers, but I will. We just had a weekend where in a 2-day event, we made, here, give me 1 second.
Sure.
129 plus 760, whatever that is, 889. So we made $889,000 in 2 days with the education company, right?
Let's go.
So, what are we doing today? We're trying to hire client success managers for the education company, right? Somebody who's going to be nurturing, attentive, supported to all our clients in between, biweekly calls on the mentoring side, in between masterminds that they get access to, in between events. We got another huge event in May. It's called Freedom. Right? We're probably going to have 1,000 people. It's going to be in-person event.
Let's
And
go.
I haven't said this publicly, but I'm going to see if I can try. I can try to get Andy Frisella to be the headliner, right? So
I love it.
But Andy, man, the one thing he doesn't like is money, and he's, even though I love him and I look up to him a lot, it's hard to get him out of St. Louis. So I'll see how I can work that. Really hard to get him out of St. Louis. Like, I'm launching a podcast.
What are the I'm sorry what are the logistical challenges right now in throwing an in-person event? Like how are
there are none.
Not in Arizona.
Nothing. Zero. Not in Arizona. Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Zero. So but anyway, with Andy, I was like, hey man, I'm launching my own podcast. It's called Limitless with Carlos Reyes. I said, I want you to be one of my first guests. And he's like, well, bro, I will, but you gotta come to St. Louis. I gotta go back to St. Louis. So but yeah, so we'll see, man. But my goal is to, just keep growing, just keep growing, man. Like, that's it. Like, for me, it's growth. And like, when I told you, like, bro, a lot of people would have already said, you know what, we built enough, let's retire. For us, it's like, excuse me, that's not really in us to do that. It's not in us to like, oh, we made enough money, let's stop. We built all this company, let's stop. Man, we're in the infancy state. Like, bro, we've been at it for 6 years, right? Like, what does it look like? Where will we be in another 6 years? If we don't.
Well, I love the approach you're taking. Most people try to build their personal brand and then leverage that into some business ventures. But you've already built the business ventures and now you're growing the personal brand. And I think you're trying to get your engagement back right now and bounce back from some sort of shadow ban you had.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
Politics. I was trolling because the whole world, like, brother, a lot of the world and a lot of the country, I feel so bad for them. Like, they get so wrapped up in just BS that doesn't even serve them, right?
Right.
Like, and for me, I just started trolling, like, making fun of like Biden, and maybe, trolling on Trump, and like, I'm kind of just, I was just having, it was entertaining to me because I operate at a higher, at a higher emotional intelligence level. So I know how to like trigger. And I think enough people maybe reported me like putting these, polls and like videos, like if you look at some of my videos, like from then, like November, December, like I was going heavy on trolling, bro, heavy. But you know what? The engagement was through the roof at that time. You know what I mean? Like, when I was trolling, the engagement was through the roof, and then they got me, and I'm trying to, bro, now, like, I put a picture of me and my daughter yesterday, bro, it reached 7,500 people, right? That's
crazy.
nothing. I used to be able to reach like 20,000 people in 1 hour.
That's crazy.
1 hour, I used to be able to reach 20,000 people, right? So anyway,
well, the good news is now that you're on our show, I mean, bro, that's like instant virality. I mean, obviously, so.
Is it? God willing it is, but watch this.
We're number 40 in South Africa, just saying, you know.
Let's go. So watch, this was November 6th. I did this Donald Trump and Biden troll, right? Bro, that got 21,000 likes on 21,000 likes. And then it got, watch this. This is how you know, like my reach is like gone. 327,000 plays. Like I was crushing it. I was crushing it in November and December. You know what I mean?
So what are your thoughts, man, on this big tech censorship in the present day world, bro? Like, I'm sure you got some opinions on that.
Brother, I'll tell you what. I'm working with the company. It's called Superfan Social. And they're going to move all my stuff to one platform. And the engagement and reach is 100%. So I don't even give a shit about what Instagram's going to do. You know, I don't even, like, whatever. You know, it's like, thank God we have real businesses. Like, because God knows if, you know, if like the way what they're doing, like if my business was dependent on Instagram, I would be bankrupt right now. Somebody would be repossessing the Rolls Royce right now. They would be pulling up, like, I'm not driving it today. I drove my Porsche, but they would be pulling up and like repossessing all my stuff. You know what I mean? If my, sure. Like a lot of guys out there now, you know, they make a living off social media. Nothing wrong with that. Hustle, you know, get it where you can, you know. I'm very grateful that Sal and I built our businesses like, you know, concrete, brick and mortar, you know what I mean? Where I don't have to, and we diversified very well. We didn't put all our eggs in one basket, you know what I mean? When one thing's up, the other one might be down. When one thing's down, the other one's up, and we're moving forward.
Man, hell yeah. Well, that's what entrepreneurs do. I mean, they find solutions. They don't let the macro climate dictate their direction. They become the thermostat, whereas everyone else is just a thermometer, you know, reflecting the world around them. So that's what's up, man. So you're still going just as hard as you are, or even harder than you were. Harder. So what is the legacy you're working towards? Like, what is the end goal that you're looking towards? Or do you just enjoy the game so much and building businesses so much like I do that you're just out there?
Brother, for me, it's the perfect storm. Like, I'm an athlete. I love to win. This is the world's most competitive sport. You know, I'm an athlete. I love to win. 1, 2, I love people. I love serving people. I love changing people's lives, impacting their life. Bro, in the real estate game, like if you ever ask around in the real estate game, you know how I made my name in the real estate game?
How'd you do that?
By helping other people like do well, like become millionaires in the game. That's how I built my name. That's how Sal built his name. That's how All In built its name. There's a wave, like there's a wave from LA all the way to Miami, you know, up to New Jersey, out to Seattle. Like we helped over the past 3 years when we started actually like throwing events and education, man, bro, like we helped thousands of people like get out of, you know, like reach financial freedom. You know what I mean? So
what are some of those specific stories that stuck out to you? Some specific case studies of your
my brother Keith Everett. If you look at my boy Keith Everett, that dude sold his bed. You know, that dude was renting cars to go to seller appointments. That dude was dead broke, and he was my first mentee. He was the first person to ever pay me 8 figures. No, not 8 figures. Hold on, sorry, it wasn't 8 figures. Well,
damn.
I only do 3-month mentorships, and I charge like 30 to 50 grand, depending on the kind of mentorship you want. But he was the first person to pay the money. He was the first person to believe in me back in 2018. And now, I mean, like I said, we did 2 days. We made like, you know, 889K, like 889. And it was because of somebody like my boy Keith Everett that trusted and believed in me. You know what I mean?
Sure.
That's the thing. Every person that I serve, they somehow serve me in a beautiful way.
So when someone comes to one of your events, what can they expect to learn? I mean, what is the process that you teach them? Obviously, without going into all of it because they got to go to the event. But what is the
I don't, brother. That's the one thing. Like, we don't hold anything back. We open up the curtain and we share 100%, 110%. You know, and We don't do the, oh, we're going to share 20%. And if you want the rest, you do our mentorship. Absolutely not. The way that we operate is, hey, we're going to share it all with you. We're going to cram in so much information. Now, if you want guidance, coaching, support to implement all that, then you come to us. You don't have to come to us. You can go figure out, you already have the blueprint and go put it to work. Most people take that blueprint and they start to make money right away. And then they come back and then they pay us big money to coach them to actually build like a 7-figure company. So, but anyway, back to what you said about my legacy, right? Yes, I love the game. Yes, serving people changes my life. Like the more that I serve people, the more that I level up for some reason, because I sure as hell, brother, I'm not like, I didn't build my influence and my reputation based on me being a multimillionaire. A multimillionaire in this game is nothing. There's plenty of people out there that make 100 more times what I make, but they just don't have the influence that I have because they've never helped enough people achieve their dreams. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's number 2. And number 3, generational wealth, man. I want my baby girls and my future kids, whoever, boys or girls, and my grandkids to, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that breaks that barrier. I'm the guy that changes the rest of the history of my family. I'm the guy. I'm the first guy, and I'm not going to be the last, God willing.
I'm curious to know more about this blueprint. What can you tell me about this blueprint?
Real estate wise?
Yeah, if you had to teach me real estate wholesaling in 12 minutes, what would be the top tips? Like how would one get started in the game?
Where do you live?
San Francisco.
Okay. Well, I have
so step 1, get out of San Francisco.
No, I have a mentee out there, Daryl Canlis, Brothers Buy Homes. You guys should link up with them. They did about 4 mil last year. We're going to do about 8 to 10 this year. They're one of my mentees. I just helped them expand from the Bay Area down to LA. Now they're in LA now. Now they're in 2 different markets, right? Great guys, by the way. And they're young. They're like 25. Daryl Canlis and his brother Neil. They're crushing the game. They're already, 7-figure guys, but we're going to try to get them to 8 figures. What I would do in your specific situation is I would try to learn the concept as much as I can first. For you to do that, you can actually, if you grab my book digitally, it's free. Don't go to Amazon and pay $20. If you go to bestreibook.com, you can download it straight to your phone at no charge. Okay. bestreibook.com. All right. That's the first thing I would do is I would read that book. I would study that book. And then it's time, got the knowledge. Now it's time to implement, right? In the Bay Area, what I would specifically do, right? Now that I learned how to talk to people, build rapport, negotiate, throw offers out there, I would probably run a pay-per-click campaign in San Francisco. That's going to be the quickest way for you to grab a deal in the Bay Area. I'd probably spend about $5,000 to $10,000 on a Google pay-per-click campaign. That $5,000 to $10,000 will more than likely land you 1 to 2 deals. Each deal in the Bay Area, you can make anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000. So more than likely, you're going to get a 5 to 10x ROI on the money that you spend on marketing. So that's what I would do if I was in the Bay Area.
How is real estate investing been affected by just the macro climate? I know inventory is pretty low, right, around the United States.
So inventory is historically low. Demand is historically high. It's almost like we're back in, 05, 06, 07, right? Prices are crazy again. But guess what? Rates are low. Back then in 07, rates were high. Remember, we were between like 7, 8, 9%. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we had an ARM, an adjustable rate mortgage with, where it would go from like 3% to like 7%, right? That was like the perfect storm where like rates jumped on all those ARMs. The banks were giving out loans on stated income with no credit score.
Right.
It was real shit show back in 07. Okay. So right now inventory is historically low. The feds are doing a good job with the rates. Demand is historically high, and it's a beautiful year for real estate. And I think this entire year is definitely gonna be a beautiful year for real estate.
Could you speak to that a little bit deeper for the real estate investors listening to the show? Like, what are just your important things to be aware of in the next 6 to 12 months?
Right now, there's more money than deals. There's more money than deals, and it's definitely a seller's market. So it's not easy to grab deals, but when you do grab a deal, make sure that you try to maximize on that deal. I would, if you can get your hands on private capital and actually like take the property down and either just straight, clean it up and put it on the market and wholesale it, right? Do it. If you can, grab the property and, do a little lipstick cosmetic rehab, $5 and $15, and list it on the market, do it, because in the market, things are flying. Like, you're getting multiple offers over asking price. And in many cases, clients, like buyers, are even paying the differential between what the property appraises for and what you're selling the property for. So let's just say that you're like, man, I want, you're in the Bay Area. So we're selling a property in Berkeley for about 1.5, 1.6. We grabbed it for 690. We're putting 150 into it. That net profit would probably be 500 to 600K, depending on what, we'll see what happens. But we're using a company called Lending Home for funding out there. But back to what I was telling you, let's just say that, you're like, oh man, like I want to get 1.5 for this property. And the appraiser comes in, he's like, oh, it only appraises for 1.4. Well, then the customer's like, it's okay. I want the property. I've been looking. I'll put another $100,000 to make up the differential in appraisal. So, right. It's absolutely a beautiful time for real estate, man.
So if you got the property, now's the time to cash out, is what you're saying?
Maximize, bro. Maximize. I wouldn't even wholesale. Wholesale is a beautiful like entry level. And we did that for a while. Wholesaling is great. We still wholesale. We still do. But guess what? We're fixing and flipping more than ever. Why? Because why are we going to only make 50% of the profit, right? Like, why are we going to grab a property, wholesale it, make 20K when we can grab a property, take it down, put it on the market and make 60 to 70,000? It just, forget that. Like, again, there's more money than deals out there. You got to maximize and monetize every single deal that you get access to.
Love it, man. Love it. Such a wealth of knowledge with Mr. Carlos Reyes here. But we are coming up with a few minutes left here on time. Dustin, you got any of our rapid fire questions ready to go before we bring it home with our signature one?
Yeah. So we know where the real estate climate is right now. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are in the coming years. So let's say 2022. What do you see?
So anybody that tells you they know what's going to happen, right? They're lying. They're lying. Now, all we can do is analyze the data on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
That's it, right? You can just analyze the data, right?
On a weekly basis.
On a weekly basis, right? When you're in the game like we are, all you can do is keep your eye on the ball. And guess what? It's going to be very difficult for people like us to lose because we're getting our properties at 50, 60, 70 cents on the dollar, right? Let's just say that there is a correction of 10, 15, 20%. We're still in good shape. We didn't buy at retail. We buy our properties off market discounted, right? So nobody knows what's going to happen in 2022, but 2021, like I said, is going to be a great year. And I will say this: a lot of great investors that I know, like some of these guys are like worth 500 mil plus $1 billion. These guys have been in 3-4 recessions. They really are very optimistic about the next 24 months in the game of real estate for sure. That's all. I'm not going to make it. I never make guarantees because imagine somebody, it's 2022. Somebody goes out there and buys a property and loses their butt off. Like, Carlos said on this show. No, I'm not. No, nobody knows. All we can do is analyze the data and keep our eye on the ball. 2021, you got to get it while the game is good.
There's the disclaimer for all of our fans in South Africa.
Yes, sir.
More so, if you've got someone that's going right, let's say they're doing their first fix and flip, what is let's say the pillars that they would need in order to do that? So you've got like private capital, your loans, you've got your contractors or anybody. What would be like the perfect mix of people to get that done in the best fashion?
Well, first and foremost is you gotta be able. There's so many moving parts, right? And that's okay. I don't want to make it harder than it has to be, but finding the property is that's key, right? Like finding the golden egg. The property is the golden egg. Like first and foremost, if you're not good at that, you need to get good at that. Finding an off-market discounted property, you can't lose. Why? Because you can wholesale it Or you can you can partner up with other people that are like, oh my God, like I'm an investor, I don't know how to find properties. You know how to find properties, let's joint venture, right? So finding, yes, the marketing side, which is finding the property, yes, that's one thing. Raising private capital, or aligning with hard money lenders. Private capital, they're going to fund 100% of your plan. They're going to fund 100%, and they're going to fund your rent. Okay. And more than likely, that might even allow you to do what's called a balloon payment, where you actually don't even pay them back. You don't pay nothing back until you list the property and sell the property. A lot of good private money lenders are doing that. Now, if you can't get your hands on a private money lender, you would find a hard money lender. Okay, a hard money lender. They'll come in at 85, 90%. You come in at 15, 10% down, right, on the property. And then they will lend. They will lend most of the rehab. A lot of lenders right now are being very aggressive. They're lending the rehab money too. So you just got to come up with the initial 10%, 15% down max. Okay, most people are at 90%. You also got to, you definitely got to find good help, good work, a good project manager, right? Somebody that's going to actually do what needs to be done with this property. The last thing you want to do is do what I did the first few deals. Is I was the contractor, and I was hiring subcontractors, right? Carpet guy, tile guy, granite guy, paint guy. That was me. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. It's not even worth it. All right. So, and for what, an extra 5, 10%, don't even worry. So you find that, then you align yourself with a good realtor, a good realtor. So project manager, hard money lender, private money lender, marketing, how to find the deal, align yourself with a good retail listing agent, and then find yourself a good title agency, like, an escrow officer. So outside of those things, you're there. It's all good. It's done.
Love it.
Man, I swear, bro, I got to get into this shit. Every time I talk to someone like you, I'm like, because I've helped piece together a few deals. One of my friends has an off-market deal. Another friend's an investor. I piece them together, take a little cut. I should do that more.
You should make what's called a bird's fee.
That's what I've been doing.
Like
as a matter of fact,
or a finder's fee. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And that's a great way, people, to get into any sort of game. I mean, I got into e-commerce, not really understanding e-commerce, but knowing how to connect people to the people who knew e-commerce, and that took off pretty good. And now the same with real estate. Fuck, bro, I help run a tech company, and I don't know shit about technology, but if you can connect dots, you can always do something in the world.
Absolutely.
Carlos, we appreciate you stopping by. We got one more question for you, brother. It's our signature question we end every episode with, being that we are the Dedication to Excellence podcast. In your own words, what does it mean to live a life in dedication to excellence?
I think is being intentional, with what you do in this life, right? We all get the same 24 hours. It's what you do. It's what you do with those 24 hours. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with those 24 hours? What are the standards for your life? What do you want? And what's the vision? Like, what do you want for your life? Right. I believe that, again, people don't understand the power of intention, You're like, well, what do you mean? What's an intention? It's not like, people are like, is an intention a goal? No, an intention is literally a vision that you can only see. Then you think it. You're like, yeah, I can see that. I want that, right? I'll give you an example. Everything, like the cars that I drive, the life that I live, my wife, my family, the clothes that I wear, the office, the building we own this office. We bought this building back in December of 2019. Well, guess what? Buying this building started with an intention.
Mm-hmm.
The way that it's rehab, like all the glass everywhere, we did that here. It was a vision first here, right? So the intention, the way that the intention happens is like you envision what you want out of life, right? So that's your thoughts literally become emotion. And when that thought becomes an emotion, you definitely send out that frequency out into the world. You get what I'm saying? And now all you got to do is bridge the gap, right? It's like, here's the intention. This is where you are. How do we start working into closing that gap, to actually be the man of my dreams, the husband of my dreams, the businessman of my, you know what I mean? Like, how can I have that business? How can I have that business? How can I drive that car? How can I have that family? How can I have that health? You see, it's all about intention, man. A lot of people don't understand that.
100%. And a great first step in making that intention a reality, download Carlos's book.
Thank you, brother.
My brother, we appreciate you stopping by. We'll go ahead and leave it right there. And before we let you go, one more time for the audience, where can people find you, follow your journey and whatnot?
Carlos Reyes on Instagram. I'm pretty active there, even though I'm shadow banned. I think I still get direct messages here and there, believe it or not. What's crazy is my messages don't even go to message requests. They just go into all messages. I'm telling you, there's a glitch. Something's crazy. I might just start. The beautiful thing, bro, is that I don't attach my identity to any external source, right? So if I have to start a brand new Instagram, I don't give a shit. I'm okay with that.
Which you did.
Huh?
Which you did. I did.
Right? I did. And I might just like, bro, on my other Instagram, like one Instagram has 900,000 followers, right? I've been on that Instagram since 2013, by the way. Like that's the only thing I'm like, damn, I put so much time in working. All right. So one Instagram has 900,000 followers. The other Instagram has like 1,300 followers. That Instagram is getting like 500 to 600 views. That's like 40% engagement. Right. You know what I mean? On like the story viewing. When the other Instagram is like in the low thousands because of everything that's going on, I'm like, sure. Because all I care about now is reach. I don't care about clout. I don't care about that. I care about reach. I care about people seeing my message. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, Carlos Reyes, man, for sure. I'll get back to everybody and serve them the best way that I can.
You hear that, everybody in South Africa? Go follow both his profiles. Carlos, brother, we appreciate you stopping by, my man. Keep killing the game. I know you're just getting warmed up, even though as much as you've done, you're just getting started, and I can feel that in the way you speak.
For sure.
So with that, we'll go ahead and sign off. Appreciate everyone listening. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. We'll catch you on the next episode.